Okay, okay. Got it. Making sure it's working.
Yep, got the message.
See, I'm not seeing it, but do I have to do it because I'm co-host? Is that
Well, it should have come up, but
I
don't worry
saw
if
it.
it didn't.
okay? I got three screens open, so maybe it's hidden under one of the 14.
Well, I don't think it'll. Sharon, you have your hand up. Go right ahead. Unmute yourself. There you go. Sharon Moose, you got a question? You need to unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you. I have an iPod from the original that I think I paid like $200 for with a little scroll wheel, one of the very first. And it's FireWire, so I can't hook it up to charge it or put any music on it. What can I do?
Donate it to a museum.
Oh no, I want to use it.
Well, it can be charged if you still have the power brick that came with it that had the FireWire adapter. I mean, it was a FireWire power brick. The problem is getting music into it would be the issue because you'd have to connect to a computer that has FireWire.
Well, the old music might still be there.
It should be.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to use an old phone I had all my music on and plugged it into my Bose radio, but the phone finally came apart. So I really got any ideas? I guess I could just get a little shuffle for that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the iPhone itself is just, got tons. But yeah, shuffle would work well.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All righty. Well, we're going to go through. I'm going to start off and just give a quick little recap of my great little tour that I did. Let me get in here and... So this is riding up the gondola. So I went skiing for the first time. Well, it's the second time I've skied in Europe, but I went skiing in Zermatt, which is just incredible in Switzerland. And that's the Matterhorn right in the background. This is a picture from the gondola as I'm going up for the first bit. You can see over here is one of the ski runs. And we actually stayed in a house that's up on the hill right here. I say a house, it's a big lodge. And we were able to ski in and ski out. It had the most incredible spa you can imagine. And the hospitality. The skiing was good, but not great. But we did have blue skies like this every single day. One day we had one little cloud, and it was just phenomenal. The hospitality, the Swiss are a little bit reserved. They're not as excitable as the French or the Italians, but they really know how to do hospitality. So this is a little a picture frame that's up on the hill that you can put yourself in front of, and you're shooting through it to see the Matterhorn. So that's me there. It was a little brisk. This is an incredible glacier. So there's tons of year-round glaciers there in Zermatt, but this one you can see how it's kind of comes down here from up in here. And glaciers, of course, they can't put ski runs. Well, they can put ski runs on some of the glaciers, but glaciers themselves move. They move millimeters every year, and they're just going down. And that you can just see all the different effects of it here. And these are all iPhone shots. This is from this place that's an observatory that we actually took. We took all kinds of lifts. We had trams where you have one car at the bottom, and as it goes up, the other one goes down. That's what a tram is. We have gondolas, which there's multiple cars, chair lifts, and then this, we actually took what's called a cog train. So it's a train that has... in the middle of the track where the steep sections are, there are these pins that stick up, and there's a gear on the train that hooks into those, so it can handle. Because obviously the metal wheels would spin if you were trying to go uphill too much, but the cog train went up there to this pretty old observatory, and one of the universities runs this, and actually they do sell out rooms if people want to stay there. This is a not so wide panorama again of that glacier, and this is just the sights you were seeing all the way around. There's from the top point at the observatory, the Matterhorn in the background. You can see they have two different domes for the observatory, but you can just see how rugged everything was. It was incredible. This is a pretty big panorama, and that's the little trail we hiked up that was really slippery, and it's tough to do in ski boots, but up to the very top and looking over, and just amazing sights. Skiing down one of the days at the end of in the late afternoon, this is just a little bit of wind was causing the snow to kind of brush there. And again, that's the Matterhorn. And that's me with the Matterhorn in the background and just loving it. It was fantastic. Now I've transitioned to the Dolomites. So to travel to get to Switzerland, I had to get a COVID test. If you get the antigen one, it's 24 hours before you leave. So I'm sweating that out. And at 8 p.m. the night before I left, I got the email that said, okay, you passed as a negative, so you're good. So I go to the airport, I fly over there, and I spend a day and a half in Geneva, which was really neat. And then you take a train from Geneva to Zermatt, which Zermatt has, I don't really have many pictures of the village, but there are no cars allowed. So it's all by electric. They have electric delivery vehicles. They're just these things and these little taxis. For us to get to the place we were in, we walked over to the gondola and went up to the first spot. Well, the owner of the place picked up all our luggage because that would have been a real struggle. But we walked over and then went up 450 meters to the house we were at. And then from there, it was neat because we just put our skis on right outside the place, ski all day and come back, and you just come down into the back door. But then I did a thing where it's called, and I don't have the pictures here, I'll post them at some other time, the Glacier Express going from Zermatt to St. Moritz. And that's an incredible train ride. It's world renowned, and if you're ever in Switzerland, you should take it. It's an all day affair. They treat you so well, and just amazing sights. So I'm in St. Moritz, and I needed to get a COVID test because I was transitioning to Italy the next day. So luckily, right across from my hotel, I had these ones that I could do it in my room, where you have someone on a video call with you to watch you do it, and then you get the results and stuff. But right across the street in this pink little 20-foot trailer, portable building, was COVID test, and it was free. So I went in there. I got in there in the evening. I made the appointment. They swabbed my nose, and I'm walking around St. Moritz at night with beautiful lights and all that kind of stuff, which I realize now I should have had those photos in here. But it was neat. I get an email saying that I'm negative, had the hotel printed out. So the next day I embark on a train going from St. Moritz down to Milan, Italy, and then way up to the northern part of Italy. And not once did they ask for my passport or my COVID test. So I'd had it. I was negative. And they all use what's in Europe, they have a thing called the Green Pass, which is where your vaccine is on a QR code to go into restaurants and stuff. Well, our California QR code doesn't work for that. And the Green Pass only works for residents of the EU. So you would just show them, I'd show them either the handwritten CDC card or the vaccine on my phone, the California one, the QR code, and it says Moderna and it says 3 doses, so you could do that. And again, like my trip to the deserts, there's not many people traveling right now. It's great. Italy was pretty strict about the masks everywhere. It had to be an N95 mask. And when you got on gondolas or trams, you had to make sure you had it on. Outside skiing was not an issue. So anyway, this is an area called the Dolomites. And that's the Sella, they call it. And this is right from the town we're in, and it's just amazing. The Dolomites are just an incredible mountain range. And you can see through these. These are some of the spots on the ski hill. Big panorama. There's just these jagged rocks jumping out of nowhere. These are a couple of the guys I was skiing with. And more Dolomites. It's endless. And these are all in different directions. It all looks like we're looking at the same thing.
It's that little thing that's appearing in the bottom left of every one of your pictures.
Bottom left.
Bottom left.
Oh, that looks like artifacts.
Yeah.
Oh, that's because that's where my menu bar is.
Okay.
And it's probably creating artifacts. So yeah, I looked on my iPad to see it. Yeah, that's what it is. It's an artifact for where the menu bar is. Luckily, it's just there. This is one of the ski runs over on the right there, and that's again part of the Dolomites. Just great looking buildings up on the hill. This is not the Matterhorn, and those big wires there is the tram that goes up to the very, very top on the right hand side. Looking kind of back to one of the valleys, you can see how beautiful the weather was. Another one of the ski runs, just that whole bowl to the left and then down here. One of the chairlifts, so it's really neat because some of their chairlifts have a bubble to protect you if the weather's bad, and then a few of them actually have heaters in the seats. So you can get pretty wimpy if you want to. This was the 4 Mousquetaires. And that's the Sella in the background, part of the range. And this was, we're loading a gondola over to the left. It's kind of a transport center, but just really, really striking mountains. They just come up out of nowhere. And this is us skiing down the run back to our hotel in the city of Selva or Val Gardena. There was the one cloud we had all week, right in the middle. That was about it. Just some great shots. Now, this is an app I use on the phone for skiing. It's called Ski Tracks. So one day we did what's called the Sella Ronda, or around the Sella. So we did 18.6 miles. And we skied down 15,000 vertical feet, which is a pretty good day. And you can see the max altitude isn't much there. The highest we went was 8,000 feet, where here in the States you easily go 10,000. So, but here's what it was. This is my track for the day. So we started out here in Selva, Val Gardena, and we did it. You can do the Sella Ronda in a clockwise or counterclockwise rotation. So we did the clockwise rotation. So we took a lift over to here, then we went up another lift and skied down this whole way, all the way down to here. And then this is a lift, then another lift, skied down, take another lift, ski down here. We kind of skied around here a little bit. And then down to here, all the way around. And this is the thing that's the Sella. And so we went all the way around and finished the day skiing on back this long trail from right here all the way down to where we were staying. Had to take one last little lift to get there. But that's the Sella Ronda in Italy. And the amazing thing is, it's called the Dolomite Super Ski, and it's 450 ski lifts, and you can connect to them by bus, by train, and all that. So your pass works for all of them. And so there's tons. These are all different little areas they're the 6 valleys, and actually they've added now a 7th valley. You can see another ski area out here. Here's another ski area here. And all these ski areas are connected in one way or another. So it was pretty cool. Any questions on that, or traveling right now and what it's like? Any of that stuff? I will. Nobody.
Ken, this is Bev.
Yeah,
What
go ahead.
would happen if you had tested positive? What provisions, backups, and sorts of things did you?
Well, I would have used one of the other kits I had to test it to see if I could get a negative. And if not, I would have had to, I couldn't have traveled. I would have had to stay in the hotel for the quarantine period, which can be 5, 10, or 14 days, depending on where you are and stuff. So therefore, that's why I encourage, even though my credit card covers it, I purchased additional travel insurance that would cover lodging if I got sequestered for a week or 2 weeks. So, but yeah, that's the thing. So, when you're traveling, I think it's the important thing is to be judicious about wearing your masks, and because the N95 mask will, it does a good job of blocking it, but I've just been kind of lucky. So the 13 people we had in Switzerland, when I went to the Dolomites to meet these other group of guys, they went down to the Jungfrau region and they skied another 3 days down there, and they all tested negative for their flight. And when they got home, 3 of the people tested positive after they landed. And you can't really, and the only flying on the plane is super clean because it exchanges air from the outside and it's through a HEPA filter. The only time you really have to be concerned when you're flying is when it's on the ground, because people are in close proximity and it's not turning the air over as quick on most of the planes. So, Bertie, go ahead.
I can. Just a quick question. When you are actually on your run, do you pull your mask down because no one's around you?
Yeah, so what I have is a thing called a balaclava, which is got a head part on it and a neck and a face mask, and I have a really thin one, and I use that most of the time. Now, in Italy, they were really strict about the masks when you got on the lifts. Not so much the chair lift, that's not as big of an issue because you're outside. It's when you're on the gondola or the tram, and they would enforce it. So what I actually did is I fashioned I have a mask that's got a cover with where it goes around the neck instead of the ears. And I actually put an N95 mask inside it. And my mask looks pretty good, so I didn't get questioned on it, but I didn't want to, and again, I didn't want to test positive. So they were enforcing it pretty much. My balaclava would not have worked in Italy. So I was just having the mask go over it, and it didn't fog up my goggles or anything else. So it worked fine.
Thanks. That's good news.
And the nice thing about skiing with a balaclava or a mask is this is the third season now. You don't have to use sunscreen and your lips don't get chapped. So it's not bad. So
Ken, this is Bev.
Yeah.
So an N95 and not even the KN95, huh?
Well, they're the same thing.
Well, different country manufacturer.
Yeah, but it's as they say in Italy, it's a FFP2 is what it is. So.
Yeah, the 95 is the critical part.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it filters the majority of it. I mean, there's debate on what masks really do, but in fact, if you just don't want to get and Omicron. I mean, the thing is if you're vaccinated, Omicron really it has very little effect on most people. So, but it will show up positive, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, that was the same case when I traveled to Morocco, Jordan, and Egypt also. but they were more lax on it. But yeah, when I'm out and about, if I'm not near anybody, I'll take my mask down. But frankly, my mask is so comfortable, it doesn't bug me a bit. And I'll provide a link to the mask I have. I'll do that at some point in here, so you guys can get it. I really like this mask, and the fact that I can put an N95 under it, or it's got a filter mask that's almost as good as the N95, but the filter itself is replaceable. Anyway.
I have a couple of links there for N95 travel related.
Oh, good. Thanks. And now I'll try to get the one for you that I ordered from Amazon. I'll probably post it at the end. So, all right. So any other questions on that or travel before we dig into what we're going to do today? Okay. Let's see here. All right. So main thing is we're going to go over the iPhone and some of the settings that are critical for making sure all your stuff, all your devices sync and things like that. But we're going to probably do a walkthrough on most of the preferences as we go, because I think that it's this mysterious little, when I say preferences, I mean settings, but we'll go in and dig into that and just kind of get it so everything will sync. So this is going to be pretty much an on-the-fly type of thing. So feel free to either unmute yourself and ask a question or use your reaction thing to raise your hand. So first and foremost, we're going to go into settings. And I'm going to just kind of go down from the top. I think there's some that I'm going to just skip by pretty quick. But first and foremost, you want to make sure your iCloud settings are in there and you don't have any little red badges saying you need to do things. So one nice thing is you can now access all of your information that's showing up on your Apple ID. So, and I don't choose to get the newsletters, I'll get announcements, but that. And then these are ones that are linked, reachable at different accounts that I have in my Apple ID. So that's important to have. Passwords and security. Now, you can go in and change your password here and this would be changing your Apple ID, and you probably don't want to do that. Two-factor authentication, by now most of you have probably had it where you have to have it on, and I think that's pretty good. You do want to make sure that you have trusted phone number in there, and that would be your iPhone phone number, because Apple's letting you do a lot of different things now where you can, it's letting you reset things and do that, or if you're on your Mac, it'll say, okay, let's check with your phone. Let's do this here. Hang on, get it a little clearer. There we go. So here, account recovery. If you tap that, you can set how to do your account recovery, and you could also add someone else as a recovery contact. And that works out pretty well, and you'll develop a key, which I'll talk about something beyond that in a second. Sharon, go ahead with your question. Unmute yourself. Sharon?
Yes, okay. Some of my apps disappear on my phone. I have to ask Siri to find the app for me, and sometimes Siri does, and sometimes Siri doesn't. Where do those apps, where are they?
Well, they're probably hidden in a folder or somewhere else. The way, so basically, if you think you're missing an app, the thing you do is you go to the App Store, and you'll notice here, so Snapchat, I never use it anymore. You see it shows a cloud there for Snapchat. What that means is it's not on my phone, but I have done it at some point, so it means I could download it again. TikTok, I refuse to use. And here's YouTube. So it says open. So actually, here's the different states. Get means it's not on your phone and you've never had it on your phone. If it's a cloud with a downward facing arrow, it means it was on your phone, but it is no longer, or your iPad. And then if it says open, it means it is on your phone. So if you have a specific app, so I just go here and hit search in the lower right. And if I hit search, I'll look for one TPE. Yeah, I'm on the App Store on the phone.
Okay.
So I did search in the lower left corner and I typed in TPE. And when I press that, it shows me there's the photographer's ephemeris is what I was looking for. And it says open, which means it is on my phone somewhere. Again, if it says open, it's on your phone. Do you have a particular app you're worried about or that you were looking for?
Yeah, my Kaiser app, my Scan and Go at Sam's Clubs, various ones have disappeared.
Okay, so put one of them in
Okay,
the search.
Okay.
In the App Store up top and see what it says.
The Kaiser app is actually called My Doctor.
Is it it's My Doctor now, or it used to be KP, but
Okay, so I opened it. Let's see if it's on my top again.
well, how did you open it from the App Store?
Yeah, it said I could open it, so I opened it, but
Yeah, so then it's on your phone somewhere, but it's hidden and you have all these different windows and you might even have, so the other thing is, if you go all the way to the end, they have a new thing where you go here and you have your whole app library is here.
Where?
At the very end, the last screen. Keep swiping from right to left and go to the last one and you'll see everything here.
Okay, once in a while that came up, but I didn't know how I got there. Okay.
Yeah, and the other thing is you can use Siri, or if I'm on my home screen, it's super easy. I'm going to take my finger right here and I'm going to swipe down. And I get this search window. Once I get this search window, I can just type in. You don't have to type the whole thing. I can type, let's see, there's My Health Online. Boom. Okay.
Okay, I'll try.
So again, you go right from the center and you make a swipe down with your finger and you get this search screen.
Well, I get a notification center when I did that.
Nope, you're not swiping from the middle. You'll get a notification if you're going from the top.
Oh, you go from the middle.
That's why I said right from the middle.
Okay.
Swipe down.
Oh, I see it. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Roy, go ahead with your question.
Yeah, I don't find password and security on my phone. I've got password and then I've got privacy.
You have to start out in your name, not on the main. We're not doing the rest of these. We started right here tapping the name.
Okay, I did. Okay, I'm on my name.
And then the second one should
password and security. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And this is also where you can update your payments, like some of you, if your iCloud is expiring and things like that. So the other nice thing here is subscriptions. So if we tap subscriptions, it will let you manage anything you've subscribed to through the apps. You see, I don't really subscribe to too many things. Okay? But that's a great place to manage your subscriptions. Okay? So again, back on this same screen, we'll continue down and we'll tap on iCloud. Now, this is where you can see how much of your iCloud space you're using up and what is on your iCloud. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. But I'm going to click here on Manage Storage. And when I tap Manage Storage, It takes a minute because I have a lot of stuff. It shows you what you're using. So my backups are using quite a bit of space. My photos are using quite a bit, and my iCloud Drive. Then Keynote, because I've got a lot of, I save all my old presentations, and Mail, because I have a huge mailbox, and Messages, which is interesting because I didn't think I had Messages on the cloud on. But I'm going to tap over here on, well, I'll show you. So if you need it, if your space is full, this is where you would click Change Storage Plan, excuse me, and then you would have different options. Now, if I go back here, I'm going to press on Backups because this is one you can look at. So I have this iPhone. Now, see, I could go and delete this. This is an old iPhone. And this is my newest iPad, so I could delete my old iPad. And it wouldn't be bad to do that because it'll free up some of my iCloud storage space. So if I tap on this iPhone, it says the last backup was 10/1/21. So that was my iPhone 12 before I got the iPhone 13. So I should and would and am going to just say delete backup. And I don't need to have that info on there. Actually, I'm going to not because I have an issue I want to look at a later time. So I'll go back to that. But then my iPad Mini 5, that was backed up on 10/4, and I have my newer iPad Mini, should say Mini 6, I believe. But that one backed up. Oh, that one's not more recent. So I'm going to figure out which one of those is the real one. And then what I would do is for my iPad, I would do it like this. It says this iPhone. If I was doing it from the iPad, it'll show me which one is the correct iPad. So again, that's in Backups under iCloud. And that was in Manage Storage, because then it shows me what I've got. So I can kick out some of that space, but I won't get below my 2 terabyte because the next step down is 200 gigabytes. So I know I won't get that because of my photos and everything else. So, and then again, when you get down into the smaller amounts down here, you really don't have to worry about it. So now you can click iCloud in the upper left corner, and in Photos, we can tap that. Now, I do not have my photos going to iCloud Photo, basically because my library is so large. I don't choose to do that. I manage that myself. But you should still have PhotoStream on. If you wanted to upload your burst photos, you can do that. I choose not to. And then shared albums. There's nothing wrong with having shared albums on because, like, for instance, on the Morocco trip, I made a shared album that other people can collaborate with, so I leave shared albums on in that case. Most of you will probably want to have iCloud Photos on. And when you have iCloud Photos on, the beauty is it will store the full-size version of your photo up on the cloud, and it will, you won't have a big version of it down on your device.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Can some co-host manage those mics, please? Kathy, unmute yourself and go ahead.
It's actually Al.
Thank you, Ken. Maybe I missed something, but when I open up password and security under my name, it says it can't connect to iCloud. I can get my passwords when I go in through settings, but when I hit that password and security,
are you on your Wi-Fi?
I don't know. I think so.
Yeah, that's weird. But it's so the difference is the passwords one down farther are actually on your phone and stored on your phone, and this one this is reaching out on the cloud so it just might be a little temporary thing like that. And if not, it may be an issue where you need to reboot the phone.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bertie, go ahead.
I'm here again. At least you know I'm awake. Yes, I just bumped up to a new i13 Pro
Yeah,
from a 6S. Oh my gosh.
pretty neat
Yes.
camera, huh?
Yeah, well, I haven't done that many photos. I've only had it for about a week in operation. So I'm at the place where we're on iCloud. Then I clicked on photos under iCloud storage. I clicked the bubble for photos and it just says documents and data. And my only choice is disable and delete. So did I click at the wrong setting because yours was different than mine?
So, okay, let's go back to this screen here. Now, look, okay, are you on this screen?
Back to Apple ID. Okay. All right, I'm there.
Should say Apple ID at top. Click,
Yes.
click on iCloud. And then where did you click? Manage storage or photos?
Okay, I'll click on photos.
And you
Okay.
should get this.
Now I have it. Now you don't have.
Yeah,
to
I think you
click
were
on
doing,
photos.
I think you did this. I think you did manage storage and then you clicked on photos.
That's probably what happened. I bumped up to
Like
hit
this.
the key.
That's what it
Right.
would be, say.
So I still, despite having a new computer, it has 50 gigs, I guess, and my other phone had 16. So I still have way too many photos on that iCloud storage.
How can you have too many photos? It means you're out living life.
Well, I have 37.6 gigabytes used already out of 50, and I've only had the phone here for a week. But
Well, no, stop. You're on a whole different thing.
okay.
There's no phone that comes with 50 gigabytes. That's iCloud that you're on.
I'm sorry, I spoke incorrectly. Yeah. Okay.
So if you click manage storage,
Right.
mine is doing it. You click manage storage, it will show you what's taking up the space.
Okay.
Now, how much space, what's it say on yours? What of what used?
376.6 of 50. And it's primarily photos.
No, hold on. 376.
Oh, 37.6.
Thank you, because it's impossible to have over 50 because yours is only 50. So what's your issue? You're about 2/3 full, right?
Right. I need to cut down on the photos
Why?
because it's using most of my iCloud storage.
Well, so it's not using all of it. You're only using 37 gigs of 50, and you're spending 99 cents a month for that.
That's right.
So if it gets too full, you're going to have to spend $2.99 a month. But the only way you can manage that, if your photos are on iCloud Photos, you would go into your phone, and if you first thing you delete is videos because they take up the most room.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I don't know that you need to really pare that down. Again, if you delete a photo from the phone, it's going to delete it everywhere, and you will never, ever, ever have that photo again.
If you delete it from the phone.
Or any other device if iCloud Photos is enabled.
Right. And sometimes, Ken, when I take a picture, like at a Rotary Club food bank and other things, I'll take it with the phone and it shows on the phone, but it does not transfer to my very old MacBook.
It should. Does it eventually?
No.
Okay, well then that's a setting on the Mac, which is a whole nother thing. So,
And that I'll replace probably this spring.
well, no, I don't think it's the age of it. So anyway,
Well, I can't update it. It's 2009.
I know, but I'm just saying it's not. It's probably a setting.
Okay, thank you. I'll tackle that later.
All right,
Thanks, Ken.
sure. Barbara, go right ahead, and then Dawn after that.
Yeah, so my question is going back to the photos, Ken. Is the difference between iCloud Photos and PhotoStream, whether you're storing it in the cloud, and PhotoStream just means that it's on your phone, or does PhotoStream mean something else?
So, good question. iCloud Photos means that every photo you take goes up to the cloud, in the full version of the photo. And if your phone needs more space, it will optimize the storage. It dynamically adjusts, and it won't get rid of any of those photos, but what it may do is turn it into a thumbnail rather than a full-size photo. PhotoStream is, and I should emphasize, that also applies to videos, okay? So when we get to PhotoStream, that's why I have PhotoStream on, but not iCloud Photos. What PhotoStream will do is upload any photo I've taken from my phone within the last 30 days. This, for someone that has iCloud Photos on, PhotoStream duplicates what it does, but it doesn't really duplicate it. But in my case, I use that as a tool to get photos over to my computer without turning on iCloud Photos, because it will upload. They used to say your most recent 1,000 photos up to 30 days old and put them up on the cloud. And then if you decide to have PhotoStream on your computer or an iPad, it will download those to there or show up. So, but they're not automatically saved to the library. They're saved to the computer. So if you have iCloud Photos on, there's no reason you need to have PhotoStream on unless you don't have iCloud Photos on your other devices. Then you want to do PhotoStream. There's nothing wrong with having both of them on. They will not duplicate one another. PhotoStream does not use any of your iCloud storage. It's a temporary holding bin. Does that make more sense?
I have iCloud Photos on, and I don't even then PhotoStream doesn't even show up. But if I click,
that's why, because it's not needed. Yeah, because it's not needed.
Yeah, yeah. You have to unclick iCloud Photos to get the option of photos.
Yeah, and don't be doing that. You guys don't mess with iCloud Photos, because turning that on and off is not what you want to do right now.
Okay.
Okay, Don McBride, go right ahead.
Yeah, 6 months ago or a year, I wanted to copy some documents up to iCloud, and I just tried to copy a folder, but it copied the whole thing. It actually ran all night, part of the next day. Now I'm backing up on iCloud. I mean on Time Machine. Is there any reason to have documents on iCloud also? It's taking up 100 gigs of my iCloud.
So iCloud, if you want to use documents, there's a setting in iCloud Drive on your computer that lets you, it does the same thing iCloud Photos does. It basically takes and puts your documents and desktop up on the cloud, which therefore then you, from your computer, and therefore you could access it from your iOS devices in the iCloud Drive. And then it really takes it off of your computer, because that way if you have a computer that's got limited space, it will do just like it does with iCloud Photos is. It will deprecate it and you'll have to download it to view it. But in your case, if you only have one Mac and you don't care about seeing it on your iOS devices, then you can bring that down from the cloud back to your computer, and it'll stay on your computer then. But you'd have to, and then you would turn off documents and desktop. But don't do that willy-nilly, and make sure you have a backup, Time Machine backup running before you do that.
Yeah, I was kind of afraid that something might happen.
Yeah, so, it's not, you just, you want to get a copy of it brought down and have it on your computer before you do all that. And you can't store it on your document or desktop, because that's what's getting backed up to there. You just set up a new folder. Those are the kind of things that get a little bit, iffy on this. Apple handles it really well, but I like to just be sure. Hey, Bev? Oh, Bob, go ahead.
Remember one thing, geek rule number one, you can never have too many backups.
Exactly. And I'm finding it where I didn't like document and desktop before, it's really nice. And when you think about it, the cloud storage space is somewhat of a backup, but let me talk to that a second. First and foremost, time machine backup is the most important thing you can have for your computer. Your phones, your iPad and your iPhone use iCloud backup to back up the entire thing, but cloud storage is not really a backup, because if if you delete a file or you delete a contact, it's gone. If you delete a photo, it goes into the 30-day holding bin under recently deleted items. So what happens is having offsite backup, unless you can go back and recover something from 6 months ago, isn't really a backup. That's the beauty to having iCloud backup. Again, the problem is if you delete something and it's gone, you can't reach back in to the cloud and get it. You can to some extent, but it's really minimal. That's why it's important to have an iCloud backup, because especially if your photos are syncing with your computer, then your computer is getting backed up on iCloud backup. So good point, Bob. And here's the rule of backups, and it still applies today. 3, 2, 1. You should have 3 copies of every important file, which includes photos. You should have it in 2 different kinds of media, which means a backup hard drive and on the cloud, and 1 should be off-site. And that's where the iCloud kind of works as a secondary backup. Before the cloud got to be so robust, it was recommended you would have 2 time machine backup drives, and you would keep 1 off-site more than 10 blocks from your house. So 3, 2, 1, just remember that.
Hey, Ken, this is Don. Another question. One reason I was putting stuff on iCloud, if I'm not accessing on the internet, if I don't have internet access, and my documents on the iCloud, they're not duplicated on my MacBook, I guess, right?
Well, what it does is they're on there, but if it needed more space or it was an old document, yes, you would have to download it from the internet, because it kind of stored it away and made it so that it freed up space on your drive for you. So that is the downside to it, yes.
Okay. The reason I did it, I had an old Mac that was running out of memory, but now I've got a new Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why it's just memory is king, or excuse me, not memory, storage is king.
Yeah.
All right, Bev, go ahead, and then Mary will be after that.
Yeah, I think your questions with Bertie's questions helped. So I'm on the screen. I have the photos at the top, and then I have the iCloud photos is turned on, and that's why Photo Stream doesn't show up.
Correct.
And then it has I have optimized photo storage checked.
That just allows it to, rather than having the full-size version of the photo on your computer, it allows you to save storage space by lessening or deprecating the photo down to thumbnail if it needs space. Again, it won't optimize unless it needs to.
And maybe you're going to get down to shared albums I have on, but that I really don't. I'm not going
There's no negative to having it on if you ever want to do a shared album. Let's say you go to an event and you know 3 other people there. You create a shared album. They can collaborate on that album with you.
And back on the photo stream, that I would have to turn. You have iCloud photos on. You don't need photo stream. That's why it's not showing up. Apple used to have it show up, but now if you're on iCloud Photos, it's not even an option. And
we need to move on.
Okay.
Mary, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that one of the sneaky uses of storage is in your messages. If people send you photos or weird,
we haven't gotten down to that yet.
Oh, okay. I just was thinking
we can address it. So
okay, fine.
So down down here in iCloud, you have the option for messages. So if you go into your, we're going to jump back really quick. You don't need to do it on your, well, you can. Let's address it. And I'm glad Mary brought it up. So if we go into the regular settings screen and go to General and then go to iPhone storage, you can see that I have 12.83 gigabytes of messages. So people text you videos, and those videos are sitting on your messages taking up room. If you decide to turn on messages in the cloud, it will store it on the cloud just like it does your other assets if you want to. But that's something that you really you can clean up, and you can see there's a couple ways to clean it. Delete old conversations. So anything over a year old, it will delete it. But it will, in my case, it would save 7.5 gigabytes. And then here, review large attachments. So if I tap that, it will show me, here's the biggest one, July 4th. I can tap that, and oh, this was a video. This was when we were on the Great Race. So I don't want to do that. That's a video someone texted me. So I'll want that to go somewhere. And these are in megabytes, not gigabytes, by the way. And they're sorted by from largest to smallest. So this is a way to go through, and you could hit edit and you could select and delete specific ones. Like here's one that's duplicated, so I don't even know what it is, but I'll tap that and say trash it. So most of these things are things that you have, they're not things you've sent, they're things you've received. But actually it looks like one of them, yeah, it could be either way. But that gives you a chance to review it. I'm going to show you where that is again. You go back into settings, the main settings screen, come down to General, iPhone storage, and then it gives you an idea here. So in this case, I just tapped messages and it lets me know what's up. Another one is podcasts. Well, I listen to a lot of podcasts. Actually, I've changed mine now because I'm using Overcast because the Apple Podcast app was causing severe battery issues for me. So anyway, did that answer your comment, Mary? Is that good for you?
Yeah, I just noticed that I get somebody sends me a lot of things, and I was thinking that is taking up storage space, and probably other people have the same issue. So
that it is. Sure. And so let's say, and if you want to then keep some of these, I'll go to messages and let me find maybe a photo. I think Lori sent a photo because yeah, here was a problem on her computer. So here's a photo, and if I press and hold on that photo, I have the option to save, reply, copy, or more. So if I hit save, that will save it to my camera roll. So let's say, I mean, obviously I wouldn't want to save this to my camera roll, but you have a picture of a grandson or granddaughter and you really want to save it, you would then press and hold and come and you say save, and it saves it to your camera roll just as if you'd taken it. When I tap more, there's other selections here. I can select multiple ones like that, and then I can simply hit the trash can and that would delete it. Or I can hit on the right and that downloads it or saves it. Okay? All right, cool. That's good. Let's go back into settings. Peter, go right ahead.
There we go. I got a message on my iPhone that I have messages in iCloud not available because iCloud and iMessage accounts are different. How did that happen? How can I get that fixed?
Read that to me again.
It says, messages in iCloud not available because iCloud and iMessage accounts are different.
All right. So let's go look at that. So go to your settings screen on your phone.
Okay, I'm in. Okay, I got to clear that off there. Okay, I'm in settings screen.
And then tap on your name.
Okay.
And what is the email address listed for your iCloud?
Okay.
It's right under your name.
Tap on my name. Come on. And it says take photo, choose photo, browse, or cancel. I must hit my photo there.
No, well, so let's go back.
I'm an Apple ID. Okay, when I hit that.
You're an Apple ID. Under your name, isn't there an email address like on my
Yes.
screen right here?
Yes.
Okay, I'll ask you again. What is that email address?
prkillian@myself.com.
At what? Myself?
Yes.
Okay. So then go back and tap settings in the upper left.
Okay.
Then scroll down about 25, 30 items to messages. Tap on it.
Okay, I'm trying to find messages now.
It's about 25 or 30 items down on the main settings screen. Look here.
Maybe I went down too far. Let's see. Sound, haptics, general.
Below that, after App Store, passwords, you'll see 3 green things right together. Phone, messages, and FaceTime.
Okay, phone messages and page. So tap on messages.
Tap messages. Now, is iMessage turned on right here like this?
Where is that? Oh, iMessage. Yes, it's turned on.
Then tap send and receive.
Okay, and it's got my phone number.
And are there other ones listed on send and receive?
No.
Is your phone number on both the top and the bottom?
Top and the bottom.
Do you have receive a new, do you have start a new conversation?
You receive messages to and reply from, just my phone number is all it says.
And then below that, start a new conversation from?
Nope. It says use your Apple ID for iMessage.
Okay. The problem is your phone number is not linked to your Apple ID account.
Uh-oh.
So I would go in, let's see if we can do it on your phone. I think if you go here and you go, so when name, phone number, and email, and you should make sure that you have a phone number listed there. Your phone number was not attached to your Apple ID account.
Okay, so wait a minute.
Go to the main settings, tap on your name.
Okay.
Then tap on name, phone numbers, and email.
Okay, you're doing it now. And it shows reachable at, and it shows
does it show your phone number there anywhere?
No, it doesn't.
So tap edit and add your phone number.
Okay.
And if you can't do it there, you need to go in online to your Apple ID.
Add a phone number.
Yep.
Okay.
And it'll probably text you to make sure that it's your number.
Okay, there it is. Yeah. It's already taken my phone number.
All right, so we're going to move on now.
Okay.
So that will cure it.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we were in iCloud. So the other thing in iCloud here, you definitely want to make sure Keychain is on, because what Keychain does is it syncs all the passwords that are on your Mac and your iPad and your iPhone, and it keeps those passwords all synced. If it's not on currently, and you need to do this on all your devices, so if it's not on currently, you need to turn it on. So while we're in iCloud, I'm going to go into System Preferences on the Mac, and I'm going to show you too where we need to do that under Apple ID. And here's all your iCloud settings, and here's Keychain. You'll notice that now everything kind of looks the same. We have the overview, name, phone number, passwords, and security. they're starting to make it look like each other, which is good. But I wanted to show you on the Mac where that's important. And we did briefly talk about iCloud Drive. So when I click Options on iCloud Drive, this is the one where you can have your desktop and document folders sitting on the cloud. I recently have decided to do that. I didn't used to like this, but I do now because I can access those from my iPad and everything else. But just don't do that right now while we're talking about it. And the rest of these you should just have, because what it does is it syncs all your preferences and everything else with all your other things. If you decide to do desktop and documents on the cloud, definitely all the others should still be selected. So that's it, and system preferences. So now back to the iPhone. Private relay and hide my email. Those are new things, and we're really not going to go into those. But there is an option now when you sign up, when you go to a website, Apple gives, and let's say it's the first time you're there, you can essentially put in a fake email, and it's a real email, but Apple makes up this email, and it'll be blah, blah, blah at iCloud.com. And it will then, you're not giving them your real email address, you're giving them that one. And when I tap on that hide my email, like I had to sign up for this Bird thing. So it was Bird Scooters, I think. So it made up that private relay one there, Del Taco, FlightAware. So I'm letting it use a made up email address. And now what happens is, let's say FlightAware sends me an email. Well, it comes to my Apple email address and it shows up in my mail, but it's not, they've never had my Mac.com email. So that is an option a lot of times when you're signing up for things, and that's where those are stored. And then the beauty of Keychain is it remembers the password for that site, and it remembers that alias email that you've created. So if you want to know more about Private Relay, which is in beta, that I'm sure Al, if not yet, is going to be posting a link to that in there. I'm not using it yet, so I really don't have much to tell you about. All the rest of these should be on, and then I keep messages off. This was the whole conversation we just had about whether you want your attachments to your messages stored on the cloud or not, which frees up space on your phone. I don't have a lot on mine, and it's not a big deal. I've got tons of room on my phone, but I don't discourage this. I don't encourage it, but I don't discourage it. I think it's fine. And then all the rest of these should be on also, wallet. So therefore all your cards are on your different devices. Stocks, if you have the stock ticker on your computer, or on your phone, it'll do the rest. Reminders, etc. All of those should be green, and this is one that you can choose to have green or not green. Any questions on that stuff to this point before we get out of this screen? So I'll tap Apple ID in the upper left. We talked about subscriptions. So here's the other one, media and purchases. So this is just where you go into your account. I won't go into that, but you can view your Apple account and see what your recent purchases are. Find My is, now that I'm using AirTags when I travel and stuff, you want to have all this stuff on. And then family sharing is you can determine who you want to share Apple TV with, different things like that. So that's family sharing there. Then these are just, my way too many devices. And they're all listed there. So I always say that MacNexus is our 12-step program for us Apple addicts. Well, I think I'm kind of addicted. So anyway, those are all of my devices, and If you don't have one in there, you can add it from the device. It's all hooked to your Apple ID. Nice thing is you can go in and, for instance, see your serial numbers and stuff like that. Like I'm clicking on my Apple Watch 6, and here it gives you all the information about it. Shows what cards are tied on my Apple Wallet. Shows the serial number, and since I have the cellular version of the Apple Watch, it shows the IMEI. So, all right. And if any questions pop up, co-hosts, if you can let me know. So now we're going back in. So we've finished everything in the whole iCloud or the Apple ID realm. Airplane mode. So I've been using airplane mode a lot because I want to increase my battery life, and when I'm on a plane, I'm not going to be able to get cellular connection anyway. So airplane mode is a double negative. By turning it on, you turn off the cellular radio on your phone. So those of you that aren't lucky enough to travel with T-Mobile and you're worried about getting huge fees when you travel outside the United States, if you turn airplane mode on, I'm not going to do it now because it'll throw us off here, but if you turn airplane mode on, you can still connect by Wi-Fi, and your Bluetooth will still work, but it does turn off the cellular part of your phone, and the GPS still works, by the way. Bluetooth is now Bluetooth Low Energy. You should leave Bluetooth on at all times. You can go into Bluetooth and you can manage your devices and things like that with your AirPods and those devices. You can actually manage it in there also. So no reason to turn Bluetooth off. Cellular, this is something, these are just settings in here. Cellular options, I have roaming on because when I travel in different places, I want to be able to connect. I've occasionally done it where I've gone and when I'm traveling, I will select, rather than automatic, I will select a different network in the country that I'm in because the one it automatic selected may not work. You can see your usage and everything else there. But one thing down here is those of you that don't have unlimited data, you can use this and it'll show you how much data you're using on cellular with the different things, and they're from most to least. So iHeartRadio, Overcast, which is what I'm using for my podcasts, and then all of these others are small players. So during this billing period or in the last billing period, it shows you that. And it calculates that. And the nice thing is it interacts now, and so when your billing period resets, it'll reset here automatically. Personal hotspot. So that's your ability to set up and make it so your computer or your iPhone, and I don't know why it went away all of a sudden there. Anyway, it's so you can use your phone as a hotspot for your other devices. A VPN, if you have a VPN configured, I have one in here. I've turned it off now, but that's how you turn a VPN on and off. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. This allows you to be a little bit more anonymous when you're on the internet. It also allows you to do certain things, like if you get a VPN, you can have it say you're in the United States when you're really sitting in Rome, for instance, and therefore your Netflix and things would work. So VPNs would they're a little bit better for cloaking what's going on, but remember the cell towers can always tell where you are. So notifications. One thing I notice is a lot of people have way too many notifications and they kind of drum it down. Here's where you set the things for your notifications. So I keep my phone on silent. So for instance, let's just go to Air Canada here, for instance. If I tap on that, I can toggle notification off completely if I don't want to get their notifications, or I can say, okay, only do the banner style and don't make a sound. And then when it says badges, you know how you always have that little red badge that's got a number, like how many notifications you have? So if I had a notification from Air Canada, their app would show up that I have a little red 1 by it. If I turn badges off, what badges, it will mean that particular notification won't be on. For instance, I'll go down to mail because I have way too many mail. I first of all don't do notifications, but I would have the notification badges off because I don't need to see a little red badge saying I have hundreds of thousands of emails. So anyway, that's how you do that through there. Siri suggestions are another thing. Those should just be on. They help you with stuff. Siri has a tendency now to watch what you do and make suggestions for you. I've noticed when I get close to Costco now, because I use my phone with my Costco card, it will come up when I'm there. So that's notifications. Sounds and haptics. Haptic are those vibrations that you feel from the phone. And sometimes they cause people to sneeze. But anyway. So the haptics are the vibrations and things. And you can even set custom vibrations for certain, like you can do custom ringtones if it's a certain person calling. You can do custom haptics. So it would vibrate a certain way when someone's calling. And I'm sure that all of us have experienced phantom vibrations. It's just what happens. Headphone safety. This is just a thing you can say if you're worried about it. You can reduce loud sounds. I find that that's part of the problem I've had with the Apple Podcast app is it doesn't go loud enough. So this will tell you if you have notifications that you've done too loud. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can't find sound and haptics on my screen.
Under settings.
Oh, there it is. Sorry.
Yeah.
Got it.
So the other thing is down here, you have volume buttons on the left side of your phone, volume up and volume down. And one thing you have to remember is, depending on what you're in, if you're in music and you turn the volume way up, let's say, and then it won't affect your ringtone because your ringtone you would set separately. So basically the phone buttons respond to whatever it's doing at the time, and when you adjust it, it adjusts it only for that. So the one thing you want to have here is, and it should be on, is change with buttons. Some people, sometimes this is off and they go to adjust the volume up and down with the side buttons and it doesn't work. So anyway, that's that setting. And I'll give you a little tip that I found out that's kind of interesting. My iPad mini, and I'm sure any of the new iPads, you normally look at an iPad in horizontal mode, but sometimes you do it in portrait mode up and down. Well, when I'm on an airplane, so normally I have my iPad set up so that the charging port is on the right-hand side. But when I'm on an airplane, I hang it from the seat in front of me, so the charging port is on the left side. Well, the iPad mini has volume buttons that are actually on what essentially would be the top when it's in portrait mode, when the camera is that way. But if I set it one way, the top button is volume up, and when I flip the iPad the complete other way, the button that was on the top is now on the bottom, but the top button, it responded to the flip, and it's not the volume up is not fixed to the button, it's fixed to the orientation of the iPad. I thought that was very Apple. So anyway, too, you can also turn off keyboard clicks. I again have my phone with the slider switch on all the time. You can turn off all that stuff. So that's sound and haptics. So people ask what happened to do not disturb. Well, do not disturb became focus. And here's focus. You can do different, you can set up different ones, but let's look where focus really is. If I swipe down from the upper right corner, this now is focus. And that half moon right there, that is not showing you where an outhouse is. That's a half moon, meaning that you can sleep or want to rest it. So if I press and hold on focus, I have some options. For instance, I can say do not disturb, and when I press on do not disturb, I get these options for 1 hour until this evening, until I leave this location, which is nice, or until the end of this event. On my calendar, this event is from 9 a.m. to there. So the old do not disturb is there, but it's under focus now. For instance, driving. Driving, you can set it up so that if it senses you're in a car moving, it will ask you, or it will silence it and send people back a message that you're driving and you can't respond. And there's some other settings down in here. So again, focus became, or do not disturb became focus, and you press and hold on it and then press the ellipsis on that side to do it. Okay. Any questions? Oh, Roy, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't have that drop down with the timing for my do not disturb is just either on or off.
Well, you're on. Okay, so are you on a Touch ID phone or a Face ID phone?
I don't know what the difference.
How do you unlock your phone?
Face.
Okay, so go to the far upper right corner, way up here, and slide down, and you should get this screen.
Okay.
Upper right-hand corner, off the bezel, and slide down. You should get Control Center.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, do you have Focus in Control Center right here?
Okay. I have that.
Then tap Focus.
I did.
And now you should get a list of these things.
Yeah, but there now I tapped it again. I got the 1 hour or whatever. Okay.
Yeah, you have to tap the ellipsis right here.
Huh. But that's different than going through the focus, the regular focus.
This is the regular
settings.
focus.
Well, I've got.
Well, the settings is the settings is settings for focus. This is actually using focus, but some of them are in the settings.
And the one in the settings is just on or off.
Right. So that's why you have to go to Control Center.
Oh,
but
okay.
In settings,
I never do that.
in settings in focus is where you have choices, like you can set the schedules and things like that.
Okay, good to know. Thanks.
Bob White, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I might be confused here.
Well, so am I then.
Okay, for a long time, I've had my phone set so that only 3 or 4 people calls would ring between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m.
Right.
And if I understood what you said correctly, that moved over to focus.
I think so, and I think it's right here
When I
under
go into
allowed
focus-
notifications.
When I go into focus
Are you in focus settings, Bob, or in the focus in Control Center?
I'm at the control panel.
Okay, go into settings.
Hold on a second, let me get there. Okay.
It's about 10 items, 8 items down.
Found it.
Tap
Okay.
focus, and then tap on do not disturb. And then look on my screen right here. Do you have this
Okay,
part?
it's still there. I was just
Is
in
it
the
under
wrong.
is it under people right here?
Uh,
Look on my screen. Is it this
Yeah.
in this area?
yeah, I'm saying that mine says same thing, none allowed, but when you go down further, there's a title, it says turn on automatically, and the one I'm referring to is right there.
And that has the people listed that you had let through?
Let me open it and see.
Because I'm almost wondering if you have to re-enter those people up here under people.
Yeah, because when you go into that detail, it's showing the start and beginning times, and it's showing the days.
Yeah,
So
so you, Bob, you may have to go here where it says none allowed. Let me tap that. Yeah, and so you would add the person, and then you could like add all your favorites and stuff. So I think you have to set those people back up, it looks like.
Yeah, okay. Good thing I asked the question.
Yeah, no, that's good, and I just leave my phone on silent all the time anyway. But no, it's a good thing. And by the way, you can tell Siri to turn focus on also.
And by the way, it's easy when you tap that, it brings up your
Contact
contacts,
list.
and
Yeah,
all you got to do is check out.
I'll go to it again. Do there, add a person, and when you hit plus, it
Yeah, you just tap the
goes in
circle,
there.
add them. Yeah. Okay, glad I asked.
Yeah, and it's weird that it didn't carry over, but it was. Focus was a big change from the do not disturb. All right. Anybody? Okay, go ahead, Kathy.
Is it true that when I have do not disturb on, if a favorite calls me twice, then it will come through?
Actually, if anybody calls you twice, it can come through.
Oh, okay.
A favorite, if you enable a favorite, let's look at that. Do not disturb. I don't know if they've changed that, but it used to be anybody could do it. But if you turn it on, so like I'm in focus right here, so when I add people, when I tap that, I can say calls from favorites. Here you go. Here's the screen you want.
Oh.
So down below is, so the first part is you would add a person from your address book, okay? A specific person is allowed to break through your notifications. But if I go down here, also allow calls from, and if I tap favorites, I can pick also allow from everyone, no one, favorites, someone that's in your contacts, one of your groups. But then here is, this used to not be an option, but now you can either turn on, allow repeated calls or not. That way, if someone you know, for a call from the same person within 3 minutes will not be silenced. So this doesn't mean the people you've said can get through because they're already going to get through. This would be someone that was not in your favorites or in your allowed group. If they call a second time within 3 minutes, it won't be silenced. Because that's the old emergency way, that people know. We're back when we used to pay for long distance, remember?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
So
So
when
that's
I have favorites marked above, do those people have to call twice or just once
No.
and it will come through?
Anybody in your favorites comes through without getting blocked. Anyone else would have to call twice to get through.
Okay, thank you.
And you know what? They're so sophisticated on all this, and I used to have it on my flip phone. I do not, and somebody can, if they know of it, let me know. But there's no way, if a call's busy, to do a repeat call. I mean, you can do a repeat call by going into calls, but I remember on my Sony, it would listen and hear that that it's a busy signal, and then 30 seconds later, it initiate the call again. I'm just really surprised the phone doesn't do that. All right. So going on down, we did focus. Screen time, if you're interested, it lets you know how much of the screen you're using and things like that. I think that's less for us because we use them a lot and I don't want to be remembered how much I use it. So anyway, that's up to you. You can do settings, you can set parameters on that. All right, then we get into the big general screen. So first and foremost, once we get into general and we click, I'm going to go from the top, about. This is where you would change the name of your phone. A lot of you have them just called iPhone. So like for instance, on this trip, we were airdropping photos back and forth to everybody. Well, if their phone just said iPhone, we didn't know if it was the person sitting next to us or the person on the other side of the restaurant. So you would tap that and you can then change your name right there. I leave mine as just Ken's iPhone because when I upgrade my phone every year, I don't have to change my number that way. So it shows you the software version. 15.3 has been out for a little while, not very long, but a nice little thing coming up, by the way. In 15.4, when the 15.4 software drops, your phone will unlock when you have a mask on. So now, more than 2 years into this, we're finally getting that. By the way, if you do have an Apple Watch, you can make it so with a mask on, the Apple Watch will unlock your phone, and we'll go into that in a minute. The model name of your phone, there's your model number, your serial number. If you have Apple Care, you can check your thing there. But the big thing is this way you can see what's on your device. So I have a 1 terabyte phone, and I'm using a little more than half of it. So I have 670 applications, down from my high of 1,343 that I had, I think, on my iPhone 7. So that's how many photos, videos I have. Wi-Fi address, you really don't need this stuff. This means that I'm not carrier locked. I have no restrictions. By the way, if you're traveling, most of the new phones, the higher end phones from Apple, have what's the ability to put in you have 2 SIM cards. SIM cards are what you use for the carriers. So I have T-Mobile, and I have my eSIM in, and what my eSIM is it's my T-Mobile, and then I have a slot where my SIM goes in, and I can put another card in this if I'm in another country, and I can use different carrier. Or in fact, you could have, like a lot of people I see walking around with 2 phones, they might have a work and a home phone. You could in fact put a SIM card in, and then you could determine which one you do it. So most of the higher numbered phones from Apple have dual SIMs. So Roy, go ahead and ask your question.
Further up on this same thing, it says songs, and I have 0, but I got a ton of songs on my phone, so I'm confused.
Well, these are stored songs, and do you have Apple Music?
No.
Well, then any of the other songs would be streaming, I think, but you got me on that one.
Okay.
Unless anybody else has any input on what that might be.
Ken, since I transferred over a bunch of I had a bunch of CDs that I had transferred onto my old computer, and they ended up, some of the music is on my phone from the physical CDs that I had long ago, and because I've never joined Apple Music either.
Yeah, well, that could be the old, what was called Apple iTunes Match.
No, or just iTunes. It was no match or anything, just
Yeah.
the regular iTunes.
Yeah, so it may have put more in, but I am terrible with iTunes, and iTunes, or now Apple Music, it's kind of broken.
Yeah,
Still a
'cause
mess.
it doesn't. I mean, like those of us who had CD music boxes and we loaded them onto our computer, they didn't necessarily translate to the next computer.
Yeah, well, that's where iTunes Match came in, but there were manual ways to do it, but it's, yeah.
Yeah, and I think Match was required an extra payment, and
It
why
did,
would
but you only had to do it one time.
Oh, I thought it was a monthly thing, but
It
then
was, but well, it was a yearly thing, and then
Once
you
a
had
year,
to do
yeah.
it. Once you did it, your stuff, it basically absolved you from any of the digital rights management. You got to remember that part of the problem with music, I mean, Apple from day one with the iPod and making songs 99 cents each tried to make everything very easy. But the problem is these huge music publishing houses just require so many different things, and it's just a mess, and it makes it very hard to do stuff like that. So because there's too many people with their hands in the pot. All right, so software update, you can always tap that and it'll see if you're ready to go. You can select, your options are automatic updates, download them automatically, and install them. I tell it to download them. I don't tell them to install them. I always wait a day or two on some of the updates. 15.4, when it comes out, I won't wait. AirDrop. Now, AirDrop is wonderful. Oh, Randy, go ahead.
Yeah, just going back to the iTunes Match, I looked under subscriptions. It still, for me, is an annual subscription, yearly, $24.99 iTunes Match. It's good for 1 year. Mine renews November 14th of this year. What I like, and I think I get this value, but I'm not sure. Someone please confirm, is that some of the stuff where maybe like Mary uploaded a few songs with this, I feel that I'm getting complete album. So when I say complete the album, it'll all download and I have it until I discontinue iTunes Match. Is that somewhere along the line?
That's not my understanding on how it works. Al or Bob, are you guys up to speed on that at all?
I'm like Mary. I have never touched Match. I have never touched the current tunes thing. I have about 3,000 tunes on my computer and devices, and they all came from CDs that I bought.
Well, but if they were CDs you bought, not through iTunes, then that affects Match, but you put them into the computer.
It doesn't affect Match because I never touched Match.
Yeah, but are they showing up on your phone?
Yeah, but I had to manually move them.
Right.
Which I did, because you fire up the what used to be called iTunes, the big window that
it's
shows
music
all your
now.
tunes in a list. And you can multiple select the whole damn thing and drag it. And it takes, in my case, it took about 20 minutes, and they all copied into the phone, and
yeah,
and there they are.
I had
Randy, I'll go ahead.
Yeah, I had it for a few years. And the main benefit I thought of it was if you had an obscure piece of music, an obscure CD or pressing of some kind that may not exist in the iTunes store, if you put it into your own iTunes library, and that got put up to the cloud, for more obscure things, whatever taste you may have, it made it accessible for me. But and I had like 25,000 songs or something up there, and I think I'm not sure what the limit is, but I think there is a limit, but it's a lot, and it's gone up. But since I got the Apple One with iTunes Music, I wound up discontinuing my Music Match. I didn't see the need for it anymore. So. But it served its purpose for a while. If you had unusual music libraries and you wanted to have constant access to it, it was worth it.
Al, I don't think Apple One covers music. I think that's a separate.
Yes, it does.
purchase.
Yes, it does.
It
Apple One
does?
does. Yeah.
Apple One includes Apple Music.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's still frustrating trying to find my old library of CDs on my computer, I have to say.
Mine continue to show up, those original albums in my playlist with those songs. They at one point too, I went and before I discarded the Apple Music, I had an empty drive and I moved all of the a lot of times some of my music was in lower fidelity formats. And so once it got moved up into the Apple's cloud, when you go back to download it, they give you a higher res version of the audio file. And so
yeah, so that was there was two when Apple Match came out. It did one thing like Al talked about, letting you upload your anything that was obscure. In other words, you put it up, it went to the cloud, and then it went to you. It didn't get used for anybody else. But the other thing it did is if you had old scratchy copies of a song, and if it was a popular song that was in iTunes, it would go up and it would say, okay, you have that one, so we're going to give you a higher fidelity version of it. And the other thing is remember the old, rip and burn or whatever it was, where people were taking other people's CDs and they may not have owned the music. You never really owned the music, but they never had a copy of it. Yeah. It was giving you absolution. So it says, okay, let's turn all your old analog stuff into digital, and we're giving you absolution. And of that $24 or $25 or $29 a year was going to go also reimburse artists in a bit of a pool for that. Now, once that happened, Randy, and you can research it because it's your money that's on the line here. I don't think that you need it once that's all been done, but I'm not sure. And then when you went into it, did show up in your subscriptions, right?
Yes, correct. And I also have the Apple One with the 2 terabyte storage.
Right. Yeah.
That's so I may be duplicating, but what I have noticed in iTunes or the Apple Music is there's so much better quality with the lossless. There's like 3 different things of quality of music, and maybe that comes standard with Apple Music. If so, like Al's pointed out, may not need that Apple Music match any longer. So
yeah,
right. Well, I'm far from an iTunes expert. Pete would know off the bat, or probably somebody at Apple. And if anybody here has any guidance on that, this would be the time to speak up, because anyway.
And
so
good.
good.
Talking, I've been exploring, and my music library, as far as I can tell, is not in the cloud. It's only local.
On your computer.
On my computer, but I can drag it into the using the old iTunes type of thing. I can drag it into the devices.
Right. Yeah, which sometimes is better because sometimes it's there on the cloud or not. So anyway, good dialogue on that, and we'll go on. So we were at general. Okay, so AirDrop. AirDrop is great. For those that have never used AirDrop, like I said, it's, you're hanging out with somebody and you take a picture of them. You can text it to them, you can email it to them, you can do a video, whatever you want. The easiest way in the world is to use AirDrop. But one of the important settings in AirDrop is generally you're going to be receiving off or contacts only. You want to have it on everyone. And the only negative to this is some random person could be airdropping and they see you and they say, oh, here, I'll send this to them. Well, you have the option to decline any request you get. But by having it on with everyone that's in close proximity to you, you can send a contact, you can send a link in Safari, you can send a photo, you can send a video, and it's device to device. I use AirDrop to send things. I don't keep a lot of photos on my iPad, but if I have some photos on my iPhone that I want on my iPad, I will AirDrop it from my phone to my iPad. So I'm going to show you what that looks like since we're in here. But I would leave everyone on. And if you're in a group of people, here's what you do. Many times you're trying to AirDrop to somebody and their device won't show up. And I'm going to show you how it shows up in a minute because I have my iPad and my Mac here and we'll treat them like different people. But what I tell people to do is go to settings, pull down in settings till you get search. And this would be on someone else's phone because they probably don't have everyone on. I tap there and I start typing in AirDrop, which is one word. And I don't go to the sounds, I go to the gear right here. Tap that, and then I go right to this screen and I say, oh yeah, let's turn it on everyone. And if it's not working, I'll toggle it off and then toggle it back on. So the only downside to having it on with everyone is, and again, you're not out on the internet. These are people that are in close proximity to you. You could be in a restaurant and someone on the other side of the, 30 feet away could show up. But remember, you always have the option to refuse. So I'm going to show you how to do AirDrop, for instance. I'm going to go find a photo. Actually, here was a photo from the Alfa Romeo Museum in Milano. So I'm going to tap the share button right down here, and I'm going to say share. Now you'll notice here's AirDrop, but it says, oh, somebody you've AirDropped to recently would be right there. But I'm going to tap AirDrop, and it shows other than other people, because there's nobody else in my house, hopefully, my iPad mini and my MacBook Pro. So I'm going to click on my iPad mini, and now on my iPad mini, I didn't have to accept it because I'm on my Apple ID. So it knows that, hey, Ken, that's you, that's your device. So I'm going to go through here now, and I'm going to go from my iPad mini. I'm going to hit done. I'm going to get out of this, and we'll just get my phone on the home screen. And I'm going to go get a picture from...
Ken, can you AirDrop me that car?
Oh, wow. I'll do this video. I'll AirDrop this video that I have. So I'm going to my iPad and I'm saying AirDrop to Ken's iPhone. Oh, and you know what? I'm not going to get the accept. Normally you would get the accept. That's what I was going to show you, but since no one else is here. But it just came in, and let's see if it's... Yeah, this is a wild video. This is someone on the Matterhorn walking down the top of the Matterhorn. Woo!
That's crazy.
Well, it's this camera is very wide angle, so it really does make the path not look as big as it is. You'll see in a second here, you can see how wide the path is up ahead by the people, but she actually walks around these people, or he does, whoever it is. But anyway, I don't want everybody's stomach to turn, so we'll do that off.
That's wild.
Anyway, so AirDrop is awesome, and it works great. So again, AirDrop, you want to have it on everyone. So down there, AirPlay and handoff. These are just handoff allows you to, for instance, I could have started that video on my iPad and then picked it up and played it over on my iPhone. Or if it's music, I can transfer it to my HomePod. So that's AirPlay and handoff. Usually just fine with that. Picture in picture, I don't. This is if you're on a FaceTime call, you can go into other apps and have the FaceTime call show up picture in picture. iPhone storage, we actually went through this already. This is a great thing. And you can do managed storage there. So that's also the one you're going to look at when you go to buy a new phone. How much room is taking up and things like that. So mine's taking up a lot because my photos live on my phone. Date and time, this is something too. You can do 24-hour time. You can also set it time zones. Mine is set automatically, so when I'm in another country or another time zone, it automatically does it. Sometimes you might want to override that, and then you would turn off set automatically, and you would manually set the time zone. Keyboard, this is actually a really good one. You can do text replacements. So I have text replacements I've made up. So for instance, when I type the word ATD, because I do this a lot, it says autonomous driving. This was when I was doing some work there. Let's see, WB Whistler back. So if I type in 1960, my address, it puts in my entire address. If I type AATV, it shows Apple TV because these little icons are there. So if I tap AAH, I get Apple Home. So you can create all these little text shortcuts. Could be your name. It could be like a signature line or something. I actually need to put one in there that says, have you rebooted your computer? Because people ask me all these tech questions all the time. And most importantly, 95% of the time it reboots. So Barbara, go right ahead. Unmute yourself.
My question is this a place where you can set up so that when you type a letter, you can get an accent on it, like a tilde in Spanish or the accents in French? Or if not, where do you do that?
Well, actually, you can do that, but let me show you how you can do that. If you're in a message, let's do here, I'll create a new message, and I'll go down here. So for instance, E would be one of the letters. If I press and hold E, you'll notice I get the ability to do that as I'm typing.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so let's do senior, S-E-N. If I press and hold, you can see I can put that over it.
Super. Does that work in mail as well?
That works everywhere you can type.
Great.
I am in mail. It's
You
a
can
function of
also-
the keyboard, not the application you're in.
Okay.
You can also set a second keyboard, and I have French in mine. And I can easily switch between the two.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you would do that in keyboards. So you can have an emoji keyboard, or you can go down here and add new keyboards. And then what happens is you press and hold on a button, and you can switch between the keyboards.
I'm sorry, what do you press and hold to switch?
When you're in the keyboard, let's go to this again, new mail. So here's my alternate keyboard. I can switch to emoji.
Okay.
So I press and hold down here. And if I had French in there, I could press and hold and change it to the French keyboard.
Super, thank you.
You bet.
And if you're on your computer, example, if you want A with the backwards pointing thing, I think they call it a grave. You would hit the letter A, then go Option A.
Yep. Option is your one for that. And you can use multiple keyboards on your Mac also, and then they just display up here your other keyboards.
Yeah, I think Al might be able to find a chart that he could post on the. If I have one that I can.
Well, I'll show. So here's a neat thing on Keyboard Viewer. So if I go here to, I'd say open Keyboard Viewer. On this, now what happens is If I hold down the Option key, it shows me what happens. If I hold down oh, that's part of my stupid thing I'm doing. I can't do Control, but there's Control. Oh, no, that's not doing it. So that's, anyway, if I hold Option, you can see what happens. Oh, Jesus. It's my new highlight tool. And you can also do like Shift and Option. So that's on your keyboard viewer. All right. Going back to here. So the other things, one-handed keyboard, that's where the keyboard goes to the side a little bit and part way up for if you're really fast at texting and stuff. Then the rest of these, auto capitalization, auto correction, and I know most of you don't like auto correction, but I'm going to show you a little trick that you can do while we're at this. So why don't I fire up a email again? And let's say I'm typing, I don't want to type the word sleep, but I want to type SLEPP. See, it's going to auto-correct it to sleep, right? Well, if slep is really the word I want, I tap one more letter, and now I tap the delete key, and now when I hit space, it didn't auto-correct it. So again, to defeat auto spell, auto correct, type one additional character and then backspace, and then you can hit regular space and go on. Now, the fact that it's red like this, if I tap it, it's saying, well, it's not working like it's supposed to. There. It can be slept or sleep, and I could change it to that. The red underline is telling me it knows it's not correctly spelled. So again, let's do that again. SLEPP instead of, it's trying to autocorrect it. I add one more letter, the L, it can be any letter. And now I come down here and hit this backspace. And now I can hit space. And it kept it. It didn't autocorrect. Because normally what would happen is you would hit, let's say this is a person's name. And when I hit space, it it thinks it slept instead of sleep. So that's what it thinks I was trying to do. That's how you defeat autocorrect. Put one more character in and then backspace back to it. Okay. By the way, down at the bottom, this is one, I don't know if you're aware on a phone, when you tap it, if you tap the space bar twice, it puts in a period. So if you go, actually, let's do these are some good things. So let me show you a couple of tricks here. So if I go in here and I say, this is cool, and then I double tap the space bar, it automatically puts in a period. And it creates a single space. So another thing is, let's do this. School, oops. And then if I want to hit the apostrophe, oh no, that's on the regular, it's on the iPad. Because on an iPad, you can press and hold the one and make it be the other one. That won't do it on this. So it will let you do schools cool. The other thing is, if you're filling in an address, let's see. Nope, that doesn't work either. Anyway, and you have this little thing on the slider here. These are your autofills, but you can also go back here and you can insert your pictures or change text and things. You have to swipe this bar.
And can you show how to do the apostrophe again? I missed that.
Well, the apostrophe works on the iPad, not on this one. So you have to just go to the apostrophe screen.
Okay.
And most of the time it puts it in for you. So anyway, also I would enable dictation. Dictation is different than Siri. Dictation just allows you to simply use dictation allows you to simply use the microphone comma. It is exactly quote speak to text, comma, and will not do other stuff like Siri, closed quote.
Hey, Ken, question. This is Bev. I
Okay.
got in my auto correction dictionary, I misspelled Sacramento. So when it's kind of trying to do autofill, it comes up with a misspell of Sacramento. Is there a way to clean up your autofill?
Yeah, and I'm trying to think because I think they moved it. Let me check here. Dictionary general reset keyboard dictionary. You can go down here and hit reset. I don't know. I thought you used to be able to get into it.
English. Oh.
Dictionary. Nope, it looks like you can't view it now.
Hmm.
So you would just reset the dictionary. Do you have any other special ones in there?
Well, I don't know. It just seems like an automatic. It's like there's list of 3 words underneath, and sometimes the first one has quotes marks around it.
Well, that quote marks means it's trying to. It says, "Do you want to leave the way you spelt it?"
Yes, and that's what I
It's
use.
not part of the dictionary. It's saying this way I'm not going to do autocorrect is what it's saying.
Yeah, and that's what I use to override auto spell. It's just
Yeah.
so there'll be that one, and then Sacramento. I left that
Yeah,
one.
you didn't
and
use
it's
you didn't
annoying.
used to be able to.
I don't remember that. So where is that on dictionary?
So all I did is I went into settings and I just typed dictionary,
Under search. Okay.
and then it says reset keyboard dictionary.
Okay.
Roy, go right ahead.
Yeah, on the apostrophe, when I'm typing, I'll have like the 3 words down below. And if I put an S, sometimes I don't get the apostrophe. But if I backspace and type the S again, then that's one of the options. It comes
Oh,
up
interesting.
automatically.
So it's kind of the opposite effect of my defeating it. So
Yeah.
Ken,
yeah, Bob.
how about general keyboards, text replacement?
Well, text replacement's different.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, text replacement are where you actually, like in this case, here's some of the ones that are built in. If you type 1/2, it automatically does a half. If you do R in quote marks, it's like a registered trademark.
Yeah, but can't you correct one of those?
Well, the problem is her Sacramento wouldn't be in here.
Oh, wouldn't that depend on how she set it up?
No, if she would have had to make a text replacement. This isn't the custom dictionary. They're 2 different things.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, she may have set it up from here.
Well, yeah, you should look in text replacement. It didn't sound like from what she was saying she did.
No, I think I may have overridden it with the quote mark thing.
Okay, but just
think that may
checking
have been
alternate
how-
methods.
So actually, here's an example of one I made up. Zpram. Okay, so if I go here and I'm going to do a new message and I type in ZPRA, there's what comes up. It replaced all that text for me. Shut down the computer, locate the keys on the keyboard, blah, 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 blah. So I'm glad I looked at this because I forgot I had it in there, and this I have to type a lot. So, that's where text replacement comes in really good. And then the other thing is the Apple logo. So I'll go here and I go AATV, and it will automatically make it Apple TV with the Apple logo. The only thing I warn with that is using the icon. So that's the Apple. I had to copy and paste this from the keyboard because on the Mac keyboard, it's Command Option K or something like that is how you get the Apple logo. But like a lot of forums and stuff won't support that little. It is a font. It's not a key. So I've copied and pasted that. So I can do. Let's see. is it Home? Yeah, Apple Home. So I've just got some of those set in there. Carolyn, go ahead with your question. Unmute yourself.
Thank you for the reminder. Is this autocorrect correction unique to the device you're on, or is it over all devices?
Well, it's unique to the device, but autocorrection is not the type thing I'm talking about. That's text replacement. This thing is different. Autocorrect, each device handles it separately, and you can't fix it. It doesn't remember it.
The reset.
The reset of the dictionary is only on that device. I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Thank you.
Okay. All righty. Let's go on here. Keyboard fonts. You know, you can add fonts now, but the problem with adding fonts and stuff is when you're sending email and stuff, to put a bunch of fancy fonts in, if the other person doesn't have the font, it doesn't mean anything to them. Language and region, I mean, that's pretty specific. The other thing is you can see how they do regional formats down there on how numbers are handled and things like that. Here is dictionary again. I select those 3 dictionaries. A little tip is, let's just go to a website here. Let's go into Safari, and here is control the Apple Watch. So I'm gonna highlight one word, connected. I press and hold, and look at that. It says look up, and it pulls it up in the dictionary. So you can be in Mail, you can be anywhere you want. If you highlight a word and tap look up, it'll bring you the dictionary, and then it gives you some other suggestions. Again, tap it, press and hold, look up. Now, the nice thing is, and this I used a lot when I was there, I could say translate English to Spanish, and it shows it there. And Siri will do that for you now, too. Okay, going on down. We were not in this. Keyboard fonts, dictionary, VPN device management. This is where you can set a VPN. Transfer or reset phone or shut it down. You don't want to do those right now. So control center, this is how you can determine what is shown in your control center. And I think it was Roy was asking about the Apple TV remote. I don't know if you have to add it to it. I added it to mine. Here's other controls you can add to control center. And again, control center is when you pull down from the upper right corner. If you're on a Face ID, on a Touch ID, you pull up from the bottom. But it's got shortcuts to all kinds of stuff. Your flashlight, magnifying glass, a timer, right to your camera, things like that. And by the way, this one down here, you can record your screen. Go ahead, Al.
Can you change the layout of the, where you put them in the grid?
Yeah, let me look at that. Let's see.
Like, is there a way to do a long press on something and get it to
I wonder if you just change the order here.
Oh,
let's try changing. Well, here, let's look at it first. So yeah, you can change it here, Al. So you go in to, I'll put hearing right above text size now. And now see hearing has moved over there.
Okay.
All right. So you're in settings, and then you have these 3 lines over here. You just click and drag what you want where. Okay.
That's helpful.
Yep.
Yeah. I use control.
Okay. Display and brightness. Now, you can do dark screen, you can do light screen, you can adjust it, you can do true tone. Night shift, that's where it takes and lessens the amount of blue light, and you can tell it to do it at certain times. Auto lock. Now, everybody asks about this. Mine's set on never right now because I'm doing this presentation, but auto lock is where the screen goes dark. Normally, you want it on 30 seconds or a minute for your timeout where your phone goes dark, and it does detect your attention. So if you're looking at it and stuff, it's not gonna dim the display or do anything else. But because I'm doing a presentation, I have it on never. One thing, auto lock, raise to wake. So this is one that when you raise your phone up, it will brighten the screen up. All I do is I tap my screen. I found that it was turning my screen on too often. And of course, once your screen's turned on, it's all your touch things are active. So it was going to different places. So I've kept that off. And the first thing I do before I enlarge the text is I always do the bold text. And the bold text just makes it a little bit more clarity. And if you do need more, if you need your text to be bigger, you can adjust this slider. But remember, you're going to miss stuff on the page. So you want the text to be large enough to be usable, but not larger than you need because you're going to be scrolling around a lot. And the other one is, and I changed this because of one of my apps. Normally I was using Zoomed, and Zoomed shows, excuse me, where you get a little bit bigger, but I had an app that, one of the apps I use, I forget which one it is, I couldn't get to the borders and everything really well. So I turned it back on to standard. But Zoom is nice. That's it for displays and brightness. Home screen, that's just, you can newly downloaded apps can go right to the home screen or the app library only. That's something you can adjust in there. And then notification badges show an app library. That's just those little red badges. It's not a big deal. Accessibility, this is a huge deal. So if we go down here, we want to do one thing here. We want to go to accessibility, and where did it go?
And this is Bev. Briefly back on that zoom, the display zoom. I'm looking at that and I'm not seeing the difference.
Well, you will when you press it. The zoom just basically makes everything on the screen a little bigger.
And you suggest leaving it on or off?
I like it on. The problem is I had one app that didn't scale right with it, so I'll go back and check it to see if it'll work like that anymore. But okay. I disabled it because of one app that I couldn't access stuff on the perimeter. The app developer didn't do a good job on it.
Thank you.
You know what? I wonder if they've taken it out of here because it's now an app for magnification. Let me do a quick search. Magnifier. Accessibility. Oh, there we go. So it's in accessibility, and it's in accessibility shortcut down at the bottom. Tap that, and I'm going to turn off MFI hearing aids because I don't have a hearing aid. And now what happens is I turned on magnifier, and when I triple click, triple click the side button or the home button, if you have the home button, I get magnifier, which allows me to use the magnifier. So that's something that's pretty handy. Again, you go to accessibility shortcut, and then turn on magnifier. And there's some other things you can get in there too, but I think that's the most important one. You're in a dark menu, or you're in a dark restaurant, and the menu has really tiny print, that'll help. Or if you ever need to find the serial number on any of your Apple devices, the magnifier helps a lot. If you have hearing devices, this is where you'd configure them. Makes a big difference. In here in accessibility, I don't think you should dig in and do many of the other things. So let's go down. Wallpaper. This is where you change your screens. You can have dark appearance. You can have your front screen different than your back screen. I made a wallpaper for my phone that's the QR code for my vaccine as part of my thing. And I actually put on there too, it says, Reward if found, and I put my email address on there because it would be no good to put my phone number on my phone. If they find my phone, they'd be calling my phone and they have it in their hand. So keeping on going down, Siri and search. You probably want to have most of these things on so you can use Siri. You want to have an English United States language because if you use British, it won't do periods when you're dictating. Announce calls. This is one you can tell it to always announce who's calling, or just have it when you have headphones on and things like that. That's a great feature. Then emergency SOS. Basically, you press and hold both of those buttons, and or you can set up to do 5 presses, and it will usually contact people you have in emergency settings down there also. Battery. This is a thing to really find out how. Oh, here's a new one that's exposure notifications. So this is with this contact tracing. It'll let you know if someone you know nearby has had COVID. I've got it on, but I've never had it activated. Battery. So battery shows you what apps are using the most amount of battery in the last 24 hours or the last 10 days. This will help you troubleshoot if you're having battery issues. If I tap battery health, I just recently went to 99%. So you want your battery life, when it gets down to 85% or so, your battery life is really starting to go. And what that means is when you charge the phone to 100%, it's really only 85% of what it was when it was new. So at below 85%, Apple will replace your battery. There's a fee involved, but it's not bad, but only ever get it replaced from Apple. So optimize battery charging, that's where it learns your thing. This would kind of help you if you're worried about having the phone, or no, it wasn't you, it was Mary. Mary worried about your phone. If you turn on optimized battery charging, it will do an even better job of trying to help you with having your battery not wear out due to charging. So let's see, what are we doing time-wise? We got a little bit of time. And again, if anybody has any questions along the way. Privacy, this is where you can set your location setting. You know, a lot of people get super obsessed on their phone about, oh, I don't want that app to track me. I don't want to be known. I mean, you know what? That stuff is all a convenience to you because you would want your GPS app to know where you are. You would want other things to know where you are. Like, for instance, if you're going to Home Depot, it'll say, okay, when you're at Home Depot and you pull up the Home Depot app, well, for that store, it's going to tell you where that item is on the shelf in that store. So don't be too apprehensive to let things use your location services. All you do is you tap on location services, and you can determine whether you want them to track you or not. Like here, the clock. I want the clock to work because I want it to know my local time zone. Dark sky. I want it to know where I am because that's a weather forecasting thing. Ecobee. I want it to know where I am because it'll set my thermostat when I leave my house. It'll turn it down. Camera. You want to do that too. So anyway, those different things. Remember, you might get really concerned about how you're being tracked and everything, but believe me, the cell phone carriers know where you are all the time, and they're tracking, and you can't turn that off. The only way to turn that stuff off is turn your phone off completely. So don't get too tough with that. Tracking, these are where apps can do tracking when you're out and doing different things. And I have set, and it's like a double negative, allow apps to request to track. In other words, the apps have to ask me if I don't mind them tracking me on the internet and things like that. So I turn that on. It seems counterintuitive, but you turn it on, and then you have the option. The app will ask you, is it okay if I track you? And you would then say no. Randy, you got a question?
Yes, back when you were on battery, the optimization for the AirPods, do you go into Bluetooth? Where's the control for battery optimization?
I don't know that there is on the AirPods.
It shows on mine.
Well, then it would be through Bluetooth.
Okay, that's what I've done. Okay.
And then another quick way to look at your batteries, by the way. So if you're on a home screen like this, if I swipe from the right side, I get my widgets. And in my widgets, down here, it will show your battery of the different things. And your AirPods would show up here too. You can't manage them, it'll just show you. So again, that was from the home screen, you swipe from the left corner here, you swipe across and then up and down. And see, this is like my calendar. It shows up my calendar one. I was supposed to be at St. Mark's for this class. All right.
Hey, Ken, one more. What was the percentage again for battery health that you should consider?
I believe it's 85. They won't replace the battery unless it's 85 or less. Or if it is around 85, say, oh, I'm getting ready to take an overseas trip. Can you replace it? They're not doing it for free anymore, so they'll probably do it whenever you want them to. But you would notice because your battery just doesn't last through the day. The phone, what it does is, if your battery starts to go, the first job of this thing is to be a phone all day. So it will slow down what the phone does so the battery may last longer.
Gotcha.
So, Randy, did you have another question or did we not lower your hand? Okay, got it. All right. App Store. This is one thing you can, if you want to be able to download them over cellular. I don't do automatic download on apps because that means if I get an app on my iPad, it automatically goes here and vice versa. There's certain ones I don't want on one and not on the other. You can offload unused apps, etc. Here for my automatic downloads, it will ask me if it's over 200 megabytes if I want to download it. So it really depends on your data plan with your cellular. Wallet and Apple Pay, I'll tell you, Wallet is very cool. It's the safest way to make any transaction. And I'll tell you, over in Europe, I was doing it from my watch just like crazy. It was just everybody, at restaurants, they bring the thing to your table and do that. So you should that's where you manage Apple Pay. And you can double click the side button to do the thing. It can hide expired passes. And Wallet is simply, you can also get into Wallet by double tapping the side button. And then you go here. So like here's my vaccination card, my QR code for that. I have other ones in here. Here was my boarding pass of a flight that I never took because they closed Morocco down. And it doesn't have mine from the recent trip. So, but I got some other ones in here. You can keep like my Panera card and stuff like that. Like a CVS, your medical card. So Wallet is great and very useful, and it shows up and duplicates on the watch. The last thing, we can maybe do some others, but passwords. The nice thing is you can go in, everybody's always forgets what their passwords are, and I'm going to see, I have a fake account because I used to be with Allstate. I'm not any longer. So here is, oh good. So on my screen, the password shows up. Because I'm using QuickTime, Apple has it so it's masked. But the nice thing is you can go in and see all your passwords. My password for Allstate is capital P password 1. So I don't mind people knowing that because I don't use this and it's not one I use. But it's compromised and easily guessed. So, it's set up there. But I'm going to show you, I can probably do it from the lock screen. Show me my Allstate password. I invoked Siri and look at that, it came up. So with Siri, I can tell it to show me that password. And again, you guys aren't seeing it, but I can tell you right there, my password does show up and it says password 1. with a capital P. So that's where all your passwords are stored, and you can search through them. And then you have these security recommendations. It'll say, you're using that password, it may be compromised. Don't overthink that. Your financial passwords, you need to make sure your financial and your email passwords are the ones that you need to make sure they're updated. If it looks like one of those is compromised, you should create a new password and add a special character or another to it. You can go back in. I have a whole password presentation I did that's back in the videos back on the website. Mail, not a lot to do here. This is where you would add new mail accounts if you need to, and then you have all your accounts listed there. How you want to view it, 2 lines, show the to or the CC labels, swipe options, what you want to do, swipe left to flag and swipe right to read. What I want to do is I want to swipe left to delete. Move message. Well, no, I'll leave it for that now because it's been working. Ask before deleting. You can organize by thread. So in other words, if there's an email that goes back and forth, it'll keep them together. I used to not like that, but it's really helpful now because I get so much mail. Some of you like to BCC yourself, which means when you send out an email, you'll send a copy to yourself. One thing you should uncheck is increase quote level. Increase quote level is where when you reply, it indents it and puts a line there and it can walk all the way across it. You've seen an email go back and forth 10, 12 times and it gets narrower and narrower and narrower. I think on your Mac and on your iOS devices, turn off increase quote level. And then you can always make a signature for your email, and it can be per account or all accounts. I simply just have my name on there, but it could be, hey, I'm using this new mail service, please use that. And the last one that's very important, default account. The default account means if you create a brand new email, what account do you want it to go from? So I'm using my Gmail. Normally I use my Mac, but I was having some connection troubles over in Europe, so I'm just going to leave it on that. But that way, now if someone sends you an email to, for instance, your iCloud account, and you hit reply, it's going to go from the iCloud account unless you change it when each individual mail. This only applies to the default email is when you're sending a new email, when you're composing a new email, what account does it go from? And you can see here it's going from my Gmail account. And how you would change that, you would tap it, then you tap it again, and then I can send it from any one of those addresses. Or I can do the hide my email, and that would be where it creates a random one like that. And now, once it sends it, it'll show you what it is. But I'm going to go back to there. I'll hit cancel, delete draft.
What does complete threads mean?
The complete thread thing?
Yeah. Well,
collapse thread?
If you turn it on,
turn complete it off. Threads. Good question.
I've always had it on, but I've never figured out exactly.
Yeah, because there's collapse and organize. And the other thing is sometimes, like in the thread, I notice on different devices, the most recent message may not be at the top. So I'll bet that's what that part is too. Bob, I don't know. I wonder if it means, because I know sometimes it tries to, because someone will send an email that wasn't really a reply, but it's got the same header. I wonder if it tries to consolidate in that. So you got me on that one, Bob.
Well, it got me too. So
yeah.
Further research.
Anybody else? Any email gurus out there? All right. So I'm contacts. Again, you want your default contact to be the one you do. And the last part, and then calendar. So with calendar too, You have time zone override. For instance, if you're on the East Coast and you don't want your calendar to display the 3-hour differential, you would turn on time zone override. So that's where that comes from. Now, in the description for this, I talked about notes. So I want to go into notes for the remaining time we have here, because notes has become ultra powerful. I've been using it. I used it on the trip a bunch. There's just amazing amount of things. Don't forget notes. For instance, I'm going to go and we'll do a photo here. I don't want to do that. Video. We'll go to, here was sunrise in Milan. So let's say I want to add this to my notes. I'm in Photos and I hit the little share button and I go over here and say create a note. So I'm going to select note. Now when it goes to notes, I can do a new note or I can add it to an existing note. And I'll just say test Milan. And it auto spells and I'm going to hit save. So now when I go to notes, that's my, well, like there, I keep a list of movies people have told me about. So I keep it in there. I keep my shopping list in notes. But in this case, here was this photo. So it showed up, but I can do a lot of different things with notes. I can scan a document, for instance. I can add a photo, but let's say scan a document. Here we go. Let's look at something. Get a piece of paper on my desk. Oh, this is about legacy. So there we go. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to say scan document. So it automatically, when I got my camera away, it scanned that document. You notice it kind of did a right border and everything else. And that is, you no longer really have to have, and this was it's crooked on my desk and everything else. If you had this flat on a table, you would see that it's pretty cool. So that added it to the notes. And I'll hit done. So now I go back into notes. I want to get cancel. I'll discard that scan. Anyway, that's pretty awesome. Notes, you can do many different things. In notes, let's create a new note, and I want it to be, I can do lines and grids if I want it, like that, cancel. But if I want to go here, do lines and grids, but here's what I want to do. If you shake your phone, it does what you did. I'm going to undo what I just did. Shake it again, undo, shake it again, undo. Get rid of that, undo. There we go. Actually, I'm just going to discard this one. Okay, there, so it's blank. So now if I go down here and tap this, and then tap here, I'm now making a checklist. Toothpaste. Then it could be shampoo. Keep going. And then let's say water. Sugar. So I made this list and I'll hit done. So now, and then the newest note always goes to the top. So when I go to this note, I can go and say, oh, I already got the toothpaste. Boom, takes it to the bottom. Boom, takes it to the bottom. Well, okay, I got the sugar. So now so there it does it. And then when I get ready to go again, I just uncheck those. So you can make a checklist, and how you get that again is I will delete this note and do a new note. and it's down here. Excuse me. Right here is a checklist. You tap that, and then you can just type in whatever it is. So, for instance, I have my permanent packing list, and what I tried to do is, well, I'm going to search for it. Packing. Trip packing list. So what I do is I have this list of more things than I usually need when I take on a trip, but I will deselect all of these. And then for my next trip, I just go right down and select what I want, and I keep this as a permanent one, and I can add to it or take away from it, etc. Obviously, I have things I need on winter trips different than what I need on summer trips. So that is a great thing for notes. And the other thing is like, let's say I'm at a website and there's information on a website. So let's say it's this. I'm in here and I come down to the share box right at the bottom. Let's move that out of the way. Share box right at the bottom. And then I tap notes and it creates a new note. Oh, it's putting it in my test Milan one. So then I'll hit save. And now when I go back to notes, there it is. It's a picture of the website. And if I tap that, it takes me right to the website. Now, that's different than bookmarks. So what I did is for my trip, I would, like for instance, I was on trains a lot. So I was on a Eurail Pass. So I'd go to the Rail Pass app, Rail Planner, and let's see here, my pass is probably no longer valid. Show ticket. So yeah, for some reason it's grayed out because it's already done. But what I would do is I would take a screenshot of this, and there's the screenshot. And then when I tap on the screenshot, I go to the share arrow and I would add that right to notes. And then my pass, because I didn't want to have to pull up the app every time, and if I put it in photos, it gets lost. So now when I get rid of the screenshot, I just say no, delete the screenshot. I don't need it in photos. Now when I go to notes, my most recent note is right there. And so it has it. I do my PDFs of my flight itineraries and things like that. Now I do add all of my QR codes for my flights and stuff. I add them to Wallet, so they're all right there. But notes is just super, super powerful. And then once you're done with a note, you just simply swipe and delete. Here was one we did. I'm just going to swipe and delete it. So this was my negative COVID test that I did online. So I wanted that to be readily available. So I had that there because when you check in for the flight and stuff. So I don't need that on there anymore. Oh, and this was, so this was interesting. I was at the Duomo, which is an incredible cathedral in Milan. And right next to it is this shopping center. It's the Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II, which is from the late 1800s. This was built. And I saw this picture online, so I wanted to remember it. So I went and did this, and then I did some research on it. Roy, go right ahead.
Yeah, when I get my pass from the airline, that I can put that into my wallet. But sometimes I'll have other reservations that I want to put in the wallet, and it won't let me, so I have to put it in notes.
Yeah, it'll only, so like the tip is with the airlines, generally speaking, it's only from the airline app allowed you to add it to Wallet. And then, but the rest of the time, I'll still take that QR code and I'll put it in notes because it's just so much easier than just having to dig it out all the time. Now, the nice thing is if it's in Wallet, it'll also show up on your watch, your QR code to check in. But some of these scanners you can only fit your phone under it. You couldn't fit your watch under it. So you want to be covered both ways.
Yeah, no, the airline that's fine. It's like a museum pass or something. I can't get it into my wallet, and I like to use the wallet.
Yeah,
So-
then Notes is the good one, because again, the nice thing about Notes is it's chronological, so it keeps the newest thing at the top.
Oh, okay.
So, like this was about my arrival. Oh, this was my this was part. So this was my reservation at the hotel I was at, how to do it, and then the train schedule. I just attached it to one note, things like that. Yeah, like here was my New Rail train pass. So, and this was an article about apps for the skis and what you can do. So I just put that in Notes. Anyway, so any other questions on, and by the way, then Notes shows up, everything that's in it syncs to the iPhone or to the Mac, and you can do whatever you want, like the note we were just looking at there. So it's taking a while to sync because I know this other note was not my most recent.
Ken,
Go ahead, Bev.
Yeah, this is Bev. On the folders within Notes, it has the iCloud, all iCloud, and then Notes, and I have a bunch of other folders. But how should I be thinking about the all iCloud folder? Is that
that's the one that has all your notes in it? So that's the one I default to. I do not use folders with mine very much. I just, because there's good search capability, but there are all your folders there, and you can do stuff like I've got some in travel. But you'll notice, look at the number. So Notes is 373, and there's 737, and in all iCloud there's 753. So all iCloud, if I tap that, that's every single note, whereas there's 20 something notes, probably the number down here, that's 20 exactly down there. So there's some missing, and I haven't done quick notes yet, but it's fairly new, and there you can create a smart folder, but I'm not doing that. So, and here's the ones we just deleted, so they'll stay there for 30 days.
And you delete with those three little dots on top, or how do you delete?
When you're in the main, let's say I'm in all iCloud, you can just pull sideways from right to left, and you can get delete. Or if you tap on the note itself, then there's where's the trash can? It's up here now. You hit the three dots, the ellipsis, and then do it. This brings up another point. So Notes is a wonderful place to store your passwords because you can lock it. Let's show you that. That'll be the last hurrah. So we're going to create a new note, and I'm going to call it passwords. You can call it something cute so you would know what it was, but we'll do it. Let's see, Allstate. And while I like keeping everything in the keychain, this is just if you feel you have to have passwords. In fact, you could even take a picture of your password sheet and put it in Notes, but I'm going to show you how to do it. And we said my Allstate was password 1. So I'm done. Now with this, I can tap the ellipsis and go down here and lock this note. So it asks me how I want to lock the note. Now here's what I recommend. Use the same 4 or 6 digit code you use to lock your phone, because you're not likely to forget that. So if I go here, I'll put in my phone lock and I'll hit OK. And now this one is locked. Now I'm going to turn I'm going to lock the note. So the note is locked. So now I'm turning my phone away from my face so Face ID won't do it. So when I tap that, it says View Note. When I tap View Note, it keeps trying Face ID. And it's now asking me to enter the password for the note, and there's the note. So let's do that again. So I tapped it and locked it. When you quit notes and come back to it, it will lock it out automatically. So now I have the phone facing me. So it knows my Face ID. And when I say view note, Face ID. And it says, don't forget your notes password. Okay. Anyway, so that's it. But that's why it's neat to make the password be the same. Notes is totally lockable and it's great. So you can store your passwords there. And again, it may be difficult to it's not advisable to transfer all your passwords over off a sheet to this. It's better to take a picture of it and put it in this note and then lock it. So I'm just going to delete that note. There we go. So got a question for Bev and then Bertie.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to lower my hand.
Okay. Bertie.
I raised my hand. Yes, I have a question about using iCloud for your notes. And you have other choices on notes as well. When I again travel outside of the United States, I will have my iPhone and I can use Wi-Fi when I'm near a hotel. But if I'm walking down the street or at a restaurant or somewhere, I hesitate to use iCloud because doesn't that put me on international calling?
Well, not calling, it would be data. But I believe that the iCloud one, I think it's still stored on your device. The way to test that is if you could try it at home there, turn off Wi-Fi and then turn off, I can't do it because we'd lose what we're doing now. So if you turn off Wi-Fi and put your phone on airplane mode, you can test to see if you can do it. I think it's just saying that's a folder more than it is that it's on the cloud. It will try store it on the cloud, and if you have airplane mode on, it won't do any cellular data at all.
So, but
I think of it just like a folder.
Right. So I'm no Wi-Fi and I'm on airplane mode, and that gives you still your iCloud.
And can you see what's in it?
Okay. All right. I'll fiddle with that.
Yeah, that's a good question, but I think that's it. Again, that's why I love T-Mobile. I don't worry about that. I land in 210 plus countries and I have free data.
I'm not sure what I have. I'm on my son's family plan, but it's Sprint moving into T-Mobile land.
Oh, well, now are you on Sprint?
Apparently so.
Yeah, you might be okay on that, but you'd have to check because I know Jesse and Angie are still on Sprint, and the international works well. So.
Oh, okay. Good. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Any other questions? It doesn't have to be about this stuff, but we covered a lot. Don't forget it's being recorded, and Al, of course, did great. Did I miss any? Has there been any chat that's anything I need to speak of? Al does such a great job. Oh, I know what it was. Let's do this. I was going to do an Amazon of, what was it? It was in the very beginning, everybody.
Your
mask.
My mask. Okay, great. Let's do that. I'll pull that up right now. So I'll go to, and I encourage you, if you're using Amazon, you should, and you're not using the Smile, you should activate Smile. It costs nothing. And Bertie, you'll be happy of this. I'm supporting the Orangevale Rotary Charitable Fund, but Smile is, it doesn't cost you anything, and 0.5% of everything you buy on Amazon goes to whatever charity you choose. So,
how many contributions?
What's that?
Flip it back up. It should show you how many contributions you've.
Yeah, it shows there, and Amazon off. I changed over I changed over. It's been like 3 months ago.
Yeah, I've been doing this for several years.
Yeah, I have too. I changed it from a different one to them.
Okay.
So,
but While you're doing that, the answer to that other question about complete threads, what it is, this feature, it says see all of a thread's conversations in chronological order, regardless of which mailbox they're in.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, so here are some of the things, but what's weird is my mask is not here, and it's respirate. Long underwear, that I needed for the trip. My Santa shirts. Come on. Here it is, Honeywell. All right. So this mask is unique. So they have, first of all, they come in sizes, which is nice. But you can see there's a picture of the insert. And for $17.75, you get 8 of the inserts, and then you can order the inserts themselves. And I don't change mine very often. It's not that big a deal, but they come in medium and large, and they come in small, medium also. But you can get light gray, dark gray, whatever. But I still have issues with ear loops, and these are plenty long enough. But what I have done is I have these clips, and I put the ear loop around the clip, and then I wear it like this. So it really is comfortable, and it's not constantly pulling on my ears, and it goes on and off really easy, and you can just lower it down to your neck if you don't want it. So those things are pretty cool. And then this is the balaclava that I wear. And that's because I wear a ski helmet, so it's you don't want the helmet right against you, and then I pull this up. But this is not good for protection from virus at all. But this mask is the most comfortable mask ever. It has the really good pinch around the nose. It's substantial, and if you remove the filter, you've got almost free flow. If you decide that you just want to wear a mask for theater, that's fine. But if you remove the filter, it is pretty much free flow. But it's a very comfortable, and it covers a large part of the face. I never have an issue with it slipping down.
Ken, would you also put the mask extenders in the link?
Yeah, I'm going to do this one first in the chat link right now.
My ears do a lot of work with hearing aids, and
and then when you take it off, they're already all clipped up and everything else. So these are one, I got these, but I don't really, they're too complex. This thing was the way to go. So, and I'll put that link in. So it'll be in the chat to everyone. And that's the two things at the end there. So, and this, you just feed it through, and then I just kind of tie it to it. So the other thing is I just ordered these because of they were required with skiing. This clips onto the helmet strap, and that way you can hook a mask to it. It's kind of unique, like for a bike helmet or whatever. Yeah. They won't deliver for a month, but I'm sure these are just 3D printed. Actually, another thing I want to show you my orders, that since I always like tech, this thing, it allows you, so if you're using Bluetooth on the plane, like I use the big if you wanted to use regular AirPods on a plane and you want to watch their movie, you can't Bluetooth to the plane. So this is a thing that plugs into there, and it creates a Bluetooth for two people that you would be able to listen through your AirPod Pros or AirPod Max through that. Because you remember, Al, that expensive cable we talked about?
Yeah, yeah,
This would have eliminated the need for that.
yeah. I have these as well.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to play with them very much, but it looks like a pretty good product. You say
Yeah.
you've used them? You used them with some success?
I haven't. It just arrived yesterday.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, I'm not on my next trip. I'm not flying. I'm driving to Utah. So I leave actually a week from yesterday. So
Nice.
and then these are little. So I found it for AirPod wallet. I'm sorry, AirTag. And then these other AirTag holders. AirTags are pretty thick for a wallet, but this one's kind of neat. It just slips in there. Chris Dodson, go ahead and ask your question.
My question is, do you recommend a surge protector for traveling, like a small one that?
No. So here's the deal. A surge protector, I don't mind a surge protector if you're traveling in the US, but you cannot plug a surge protector into foreign outlets, even if you have an adapter, because it'll pop the surge protector. So what I do is, when I travel with the majority of our devices already use we can do 120 or 240, but you just need the different prongs. So I have an adapter for the socket, and then if I have an extension cord, so what I do is I get a little power strip, but it's not a surge protector. It's just extra one. So I convert the plug at the wall, and then what I have is good old USB plug, good old regular plugs like we have here that I can plug into that. But you don't want to, and then you really don't need a voltage converter is the thing. Let me go see if I can find that.
And what about a small one just for US travel?
Yeah, I don't mind that because you can do that. But it's the surge protector just doesn't work if you're doing 220 and international. Let's see here, cord.
Ken, when you finish 2 questions, when you're finished.
Yeah. So here's one I traveled with, because inevitably you're in a hotel room and it's not long enough. So this is no surge protector, but it does have outlets. And so I just adapt this and plug it into the wall. But and then this is my go-to for travel now. This thing is awesome. So I adapt this and I plug it into the wall, and then I have a 110 out each side, and I have a USB-C and then 2 USBs off of it. I'll put the link to this one in there, and don't forget there's a coupon to save 15%. That's my go-to. I love that thing. And of course it's Anchor. Larry, Randy, I'll come to you at the end. Larry, go ahead and ask your question.
Thank you. I know we're running short on time here, or already did, but I want to make sure. Well, I'd like to know how to have my MacBook Pro, and an iMac, and I guess possibly my phone all in sync without having to duplicate files and functions.
Well, so when you say in sync, here's the one thing that you have to realize is none of our devices sync with one another. They all sync with the cloud.
Okay.
So it's the intermediary. So you would have to, now are you talking about your files? Was that what I heard you say?
Yes, really the files.
Okay, so if I go here into Apple ID, because you have two Macs, right?
Yes.
So you need to go into Apple ID and an iCloud. Under options, you would set desktop and documents to go to the cloud. And you'd have to set that on both of your computers.
Okay.
And consequently, they will show up on your iOS device, not on the desktop, but in fact in a little app called Files. And in there, you would see them and you can use them. But this is what you'd want to do on both your devices. And so anything you have in the documents and desktop folders will go up to the cloud. So it's going to take cloud space. And the beauty of that is if you're working on a document and you save it, it's going to go back up to the cloud, and the newer saved document will be what shows up on your other computer.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
You bet. Roy, go ahead.
Yeah, when I was in France, I felt comfortable using the plug, but if I just use the USB, is that protected too, or is that?
Well, when you say protected, so what happens is,
well, I mean,
like,
will it blow up the machine because it's 220?
No, because what comes out of any USB port is 5 volts DC.
Well, that's with the Anchor. I'm talking about they had access where I could.
Well, if they had USB there, it should be fine because USB is 5 volts DC. It's converted.
Okay.
In fact, it's probably safer than the other.
Good to know. Thanks.
Yeah. And then Randy, go ahead.
No,
You'll be the last question.
Just letting you know it was Roy and Larry. That's all.
Oh, thank you. All right. Anybody else? Hey, great. Lot of info. I'm gonna stop the recording.